Hey everyone, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More, and we are outside the Ocho, which I think is its new name. That's what's kind of stuck after a few months. We bought this 8-plex with 16 garages and 12 storage units a few months ago, and it's been really interesting getting to know the property, figuring out the pros, cons. We've never had a big multifamily residential property like this. Lots of flips, single families, commercial real estate, but not a big multifamily. So it's interesting to see what's happened. Now, of course, we had some drama like always. One of the tenants said she thought someone was living in the laundry room or some of the storage units. So we've been trying to figure that out. We'll talk about that in this video. And then I think we showed it before. We've painted all the garages, fixed up the rotten trim. They look so much better. And now, yes, we are working on the main building too to fix some of the rotten siding, trim, and we're gonna paint it too. So it should look way better once we're all done with that. Now, of course, check out investormore.com for much more information on our flips, rentals, be an agent, all that great stuff. And we have 9 books with a 10th coming on Amazon as well. And then we can't see it today, but soon we have another tenant who's going to be moving out here soon. And we're back at the apartments. We came back a couple days later because the tenant moved out. So I want to show you what that apartment looks like. So we'll see that one, show you what it looks like, how she left it after moving out. We have the Aston Martin out today. It's been a fun week. And then you can see the painting is making a lot of progress. It looks so much better already. So we're gonna show you some of that here as well too. So that's another thing. This place has a lot of turnover so far. And that's one of the cons of investing in multifamily versus say single family homes is a lot more management, a lot more turnover, and it can take more work renting them as well, which we've found out too. So there are definitely pros and cons to owning multifamily versus single family, but still, you know, it's been a great property. I think it'll be a great investment. And even if we figure out, hey, this is too much work, too much management, we could probably sell it for a pretty nice profit once we get the whole place stabilized, because we have been able to re-rent units for more rent than the previous owner was renting them for. And the tenants who've been moving out, luckily, have been the ones who are paying the least amount of rent. So we didn't come in and raise rent on everybody already here. We kept their rent the same. It's just when someone moves out on their own, we're not kicking anybody out or offering them to move. They just decide to leave. Then we'll raise rents, maybe rehab the apartments a little bit at that point. Before we look at the building, I want to go over the math real quick and kind of show you what we've done, what our plan is with the numbers and cap rates and things like that. So we bought this building for $1.35 million in September. I think that was a pretty good deal. I think we got a really good deal based on how we can add value. And this is how we will do that. So right here we show the rents for each unit. Original rent, $1,000, $1,150, zero. This one was actually rented when we had it under contract, but the tenants moved out during that time period. The previous owner asked if we wanted him to re-rent it. I said, nope, we'll re-rent it because I thought we could rent it for more, which we did. Then $1,150, $1,000, $975, $1,000, $1,150. So the original rents were $74.25 when we bought it, although technically you could add like another $1,000 in there because that was rented when we got it under contract. That gets a little tricky with apartments. And market rent for all of them, I figure they're all $1,250. We've rented 2 of them for $1,250. And then current rent. So number 1 is $1,000. I made stars because they're the ones who are getting rental property assistance right now. And the government paid 3 months in advance for that. So we'll see how that goes after that stuff, if they keep paying or what happens there. Unit 2, paying $1,150. Unit 3 is one that was vacant that we have videos of from before. It's now rented for $1,250. Unit 4 is $1,150. Unit 5 is another one that came up as vacant after we bought it. And we re-rented that one for $1,250. We also have videos of that one. And then unit number 6 is the one that just became vacant that we'll show you here soon. They were paying $975. So that was the lowest priced rent. So if we had one that was going to come up vacant, this is the one that we wanted to come up to vacant because we can add a lot of value there. So for current rent, I put $1,250 here to show you numbers. It's not rented yet, but I'm guessing we should have no problem renting it for that since we got the other ones rented for that as well. Unit 7, $1,000 is still pretty low. Unit 8, $1,150. So what we have here is $9,200. I forgot to update that. That's why that just changed. I forgot to put in that rent before. So current rent, once we get this one leased, will be $9,200 a month, which is a pretty big jump from when we had it. Now, the garages. We have 8 2-car garages that are rented out or can be rented out. So here's what the original rent is for all of those. and then one was empty because the owner was using it, and we still have that empty too because we're still painting, using it for some supplies as well. Market rent, 200 is pretty minimum, I think. We might be able to get more, but just assuming if we did ever decide to raise rents on people or someone moves out and leaves the garage empty, I think we could get 200, probably to 250 per month, which could increase the market rent there by almost $450, maybe more per month. Now, total income and value add. So currently, the apartments are bringing in $9,200 a month once we get that one rented. Garages are currently bringing in $1,145. Our laundry is about $200 a month, so I've been having a lot of fun with that, as many of you know. I keep talking about it. There is some labor involved with me picking that up and doing that, but that's fun. I check on properties all the time, so it really doesn't cost me any time, and it's a fun activity that pays me. I don't have to pay for it, so that's pretty cool. So our total we're bringing in now is $10,545, which makes the property worth $1.8 million now. Based on this number, I'll tell you how I came up with that here pretty soon. Now, in the future, if we're able to re-rent some of those apartments that we didn't talk about that have low rents, we could bring those up to $10,000 a month. Garages, we could possibly bring up to $1,600 a month. Laundry, I'm saying, is going to stay at $200. We've talked about adding more machines. I know people have mentioned putting more machines in there. There's really not room. And I talked to some of the tenants, and they've told me, it's really not a problem. We all have a schedule for when we do laundry, so we don't really need more machines. So even if we got more machines, it might not bring more costs or more money into the property. It might just cause more hassle. So I think we're okay leaving just one machine there. And then so that brings the total right there. So if we were to raise rents up to that, it'd make the building worth $2 million. And what's cool too is maybe next year or the year after that, rents will keep going up. And so it will actually be higher than that. So I told you I would tell you how we came up with that value. Very simple, basic stuff. I'm doing gross cap rate, which means the income coming in without deducting expenses, which is about a 7% cap rate here. If we were deducting all the expenses, it'd be more like a 5 or 5.5 cap rate, but I'm being lazy. So all you do is you take the gross income, which means before you deduct any expenses, you multiply that by 12 to get your yearly value. We have 126,540 gross revenue coming in. You divide it by 0.07, the cap rate, and that gives you your value for the property. So very quick, easy way to figure out what a property is worth based on the gross income. So if you want to get more exact, you need to deduct all the expenses, figure that out. And also, please remember that cap rates are different in every single city on different properties as well. So don't go to your property in Ohio and assume this 7% gross cap rate is right, or your property in California and assume that is right. They'll be vastly different. Here, of course, is the laundry room. And so one of the tenants said that they thought somebody might be breaking in here or living in here. And obviously it'd be pretty easy to break in here because it's just a screen door, right? It doesn't lock. So I think we're gonna put some real doors on there so it can be locked just to make this secure. And I kind of wondered about that when we bought it. Like, anybody can come in here and use these, which obviously doesn't really bother me too much if they're putting money in them. But we don't want someone living in here, making it dirty, disgusting, any of that. So, and look, we put a trash sack in there and empty the trash like we're supposed to. So we have been trying to take care of the place, keep it maintained. But yeah, it's interesting after owning an Aplex, all the different things you don't think of that go into it. And yes, we will show you how much money we made the last week, of course, too, because that's one of my favorite things to do. Here I am collecting my money again. And yeah, I've said this 1,000 times, but it's so much fun to do this. So I really am working on trying to figure out how to find more ways to collect quarters. I've talked to some used vending machine companies, thought about that. We do actually have another one of these coin-op washing machines we need to put somewhere. So I have a couple other properties we could definitely put them at. And then the new property we have under contract to buy might have space for a laundry room as well, which would be really exciting too. So we're basically making about $200 a month from the quarters. And then one of the tenants said they thought someone might be living in one of these units too, possibly, or people just hanging out at them at night. So we came by here, and these last 4, I don't believe are rented. They're just open, and 3 of them were unlocked. So this is the beautiful key organizer we got from the previous owner for all the garages in apartments. So I'm trying to figure that out. And then, yeah, this one right here was still just open as well. So I'll try and make sure that's locked. And oh, I don't know, I should have done a video yesterday. I don't remember if that was there yesterday. It might not have been. I know the G was here before. In one of the other garages, the name Gabriel was written on it, and that's the name of the tenant who had the 500 tire eviction, who we had to evict. So I'm like, oh great, he's over here now. But I'm sure there's lots of people named Gabriel, so I'm sure it wasn't him. So I did find the key and got that one locked. I thought, oh, I'll double check to make sure these are locked still. And that one was unlocked again. So I know I locked it, but I don't know if I locked the deadbolt or just the bottom one. So I'll make sure they're all locked and then come back and see what's going on. So a couple more things. We got a bigger dumpster because the old dumpster was overflowing every time we got here. And after we got our first bill, we realized the trash company was charging us like $120 a month extra because it was overflowing and above their line. So it was really inexpensive to upgrade to a bigger dumpster, and it hasn't been overflowing since. So hopefully that fixes that. Again, easy thing to do to save like $100 a month is make sure you have the right size dumpster. So many different things on these properties and units you figure out once you buy them, you know, where money's being wasted, how you can manage it a little better. And then, yeah, this is the garage that the old owner used. This one, we'll probably try to rent here eventually. After they're done working on the outside here, we'll clean it all out. And it'll be interesting to see how much we can get for this. I'm thinking at least 200. I don't know if I want to be greedy and try for 250 or not, but the other owners, when we bought this place, almost all of them called us and like, we got to keep our garages, right? You're not going to keep them or kick us out? We're like, nope, you can keep them. So I think there's definitely some high demand for these garages. And some of these are still empty too. We have 8 of the 1 cars. This should go with each of the units, but I don't know if they're all using them. So I want to double check, make sure they're using them. If they're not, then we could possibly rent these out as well and make extra money there too. All right, so we're gonna check out this apartment, see how it looks after she moved out. We did talk to this lady once or twice. She seemed super nice, but boy, did we go in this apartment? I think we did. I think we got into every apartment when we first looked at the property, but you never know what it's gonna look like after they move out. Now, I did peek in the windows just to make sure she's not here. It looked vacant from there, but I haven't seen the rest of it. So, here it is. I'll leave that door open so there's a little more light. And it looks pretty similar to the other units. We have the same cabinet, same countertops. These appliances are mismatched. I don't remember. I think there was tile in the other units as well. Door's a little stuck. Same brown carpet. That window is cracked. Believe that was there before too. But it looks super clean. And it's all of the apartments so far where we've had people move out have been pretty clean and nice. And this one I think might be the best one. I mean, there's a tiny bit of stuff on the floor, but look at that. So I know everybody likes to post the horrible nightmare tenant stories online, but those are actually pretty rare when you take care of your properties, screen your tenants, take your time finding tenants. We've had very, very few problems over the years. Most of our crazy evictions and tenant stories are from properties we buy that the tenants weren't screened very well, or the landlord didn't take care of the properties, or it was a property we bought where the seller didn't want to leave and we had issues there. Is that mold or just dirt? You can't tell. Not because I would ever say you don't get your security deposit back for that, but I just want to know if there's mold in the building, obviously. But yeah, this is in great shape after a tenant move out. And on the other units, we did not replace the windows because they were in good shape. But you can see here, this one, the seal is definitely broken. When it gets all foggy like that inside of it, that means the seal's broken. And the other one has broken glass. So I'm guessing on this one it'd be smart just to replace those windows with something newer. This one doesn't seem too bad. Cool. So, I mean, we almost don't even need to paint this one. I mean, we could. We've been kind of trying to paint them all the same color, but it's really not in bad shape at all. It's pretty clean. Just maybe do the windows and we could probably get away with that. Oh, crazy. Now, if only all the other ones are left that way too. We do have another one that was rented right before we bought it. And I am worried about that one because we had to go in there to fix something and our plumber said that it did not smell good in there at all. So that one, when they move out, we might have some issues there. We'll have to see. And then I think that's also one where rental assistance kicked in. The government paid for 3 or 4 months of rent through the rental assistance program up front, gave that to us. So we'll see how that goes too. So at least they're paying rent, but we don't know how well the property is being kept up. And so she also has garage 12, so we can see how that looks too, hopefully. We can get in here, make sure. Is this 12? Oh, 10. I think this is 12. Whoops. Oh. There we go. So that is clean. Most everything's out. Some sheetrock. Oh, 2 mattresses. That's okay. We can get rid of those. Leaving an apartment that clean and without damage gets your deposit back, even if you leave a couple mattresses in my books. Now, one thing we always want to check too is we wait like 30 days or so to make sure they paid all their utility bills before giving deposits back too as well. Because a lot of times we'll have tenants move out, they don't pay their last water bill, although in this building the landlord pays the water, but they don't pay their electric bill, gas bill, and we want to make sure they paid those because lots of times tenants think, oh, I'm done, I moved out, I don't have to pay my last bills. But yeah, that is still their responsibility. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Really appreciate the support, the likes, the comments, all of those. You can see they are painting the building today. Hopefully it will be done soon. It looks so much better than it did yellow. You know, it didn't look that bad yellow when we first bought it until we painted it, and then we realized how much better it looks now not being yellow, especially with the garages. Once we painted the garages, it made the apartment building look so much worse. All right, we'll have many more videos coming up on this property as things progress. The other properties like the complex, some of the other multi-unit properties we have, our flips we have. So love it when you guys subscribe, love the likes, love the comments. We'll have much more coming up here.